the hidden habits making your hip pain worse that no one talks about. All right, mama, let's get right into it. Welcome back to the Hip Whisper, the podcast that finally talks about what's really going on with your body, because I refuse to let mom suffer in silence like I did for 7 years through 13 doctors. Last week, we talked about waking up your deep core, because when your core isn't doing its job, your hips suffer. But today, we're digging into the sneaky, everyday habits that are making your hip pain worse. The things you do every single day that you don't even realize are keeping you stuck in pain. And before you panic, no, I'm not about to tell you to overhaul your life, never carry your kids, or stop entirely. That's not how this works. I'm a mom of 3, and my babies come first. But you got to remember, if mommy isn't feeling good, mommy can't give her all. And our babies deserve all mommy, right? So I'm here to help you give your kids the best you. I'm going to help you become aware of the small things that are making a big impact on your pain, so you can change them, feel better, and finally start moving without fear again. So you know the drill. Go grab your coffee, find a comfy spot, and let's chat. You don't even realize you're doing this. Okay, let's get honest for a second. How many times a day do you cross your legs over the other while sitting? Stand with all your weight on one hip? Carrying your kids on the same side every single time? I mean, when you pick up your baby, is it always on your left side? Is it always on your right side? Do you tuck one foot under while you're sitting on the couch? Walking around the house barefoot on floors that are hard as rock? If you're nodding right now, welcome to the club. Listen, none of these things are bad on their own, but when you do them all the time, your body adapts. Your muscles get tight, your hips start compensating, your pain becomes daily, and you don't even realize why. And what's worse, when you finally do try to fix your pain, your body is so used to these patterns that it resists change. So let's talk about how to break these habits without making your life harder. So stop doing these 3 things. Here are the top 3 habits that are secretly making your pain worse, and what to do instead. So number 1, the mom stance. You know, leaning on one hip. We all do it. The mom stance. You know, the one. You're standing in the kitchen, chatting, holding your kid, waiting in line at Target. All your weight is on one hip. Like you're trying to pop it out of its socket. So why is this a problem? This stance literally pulls your pelvic out of alignment over time. It makes one side of your body do way more work, while the other gets weak and tight. So I got a quick fix. You know this. I want you to try to equal weight on both feet as much as possible. You're going to catch yourself, and that is the first step, okay, is catching yourself. And I'm so proud of you. If you're standing for a long time, shift your weight evenly instead of leaning all the way into one side. I know it's comfortable to lean on one side, but you're really hurting yourself in the long run. So, number 2, sitting like a pretzel, crossing your legs or tucking one foot under you. Look, I get it. Sitting like a lady, cross-legged or crisscross applesauce, or curling up on the couch feels comfortable. But your hips, yeah, they hate it. So why is this a problem? Crossing your legs or tucking a foot twist your pelvic and shortens muscles on one side. Freaking insane. Can you just imagine that? I do every time I think of it. But over time, this leads to hip pain, back pain, and even knee pain. So again, our bodies are so connected that even though your hip hurts, everything else is going to start hurting as it keeps building. You get what I'm saying? So when you fix the main problem, you're going to start seeing all your other little problems disappear. So quick fix, of course, because I got one. If you sit at a desk, keep both feet flat on the floor. If you're on the couch, try sitting with both feet on the ground or stretched out evenly instead of all curled up. I know it's comfortable, but these small little adjustments are going to do us a huge favor in the long run. All right, number 3, walking barefoot on hard floors all day, every day. I'm a barefoot girl. I do not like my feet closed off. So if you've got hardwood floors, tiles, or concrete floors in your house and you're walking barefoot all day, your body is absorbing all the impact with no support. So why is it even a problem? It's because your hips are compensating of the lack of foot support. This leads to tight hips, aching joints, and even plantar fasciitis. Of course, I got you a quick fix. I want you to wear supportive slippers or house shoes inside. So say you can't find the slippers you like, go get a new pair of shoes that have support in them and only make those your house shoes. Don't walk outside in them because that's just nasty. If you love being barefoot, like myself, try a cushioning mat in place where you stand a lot, like in the kitchen, doing the sink, washing dishes or cooking by the stove, or our laundry, where you fold the laundry and things like that, okay? I promise you, you're going to love it. You're going to thank yourself later. But I'm also a barefoot girl, so I get the struggle. Small changes equals a big difference. I already know what you're thinking. Whisper, do I have to be hyper aware of my body all the time? No. Not at all. But over time, you're going to be like, oh, my Lanta, I'm standing wrong. I got to correct it. You're going to catch yourself. And the goal here isn't to be perfect because we're all far from perfect. I tell myself I'm the hot mess express, pure chaos half the time around here, okay? But it's to become aware of what's going on with our body. The more you notice these habits, the easier it becomes to change them. The more you fix these tiny things, the less work your body has to do to compensate for it. The better you move throughout the day, the less pain you feel without adding another to-do list to your list. Because believe me, I hate checking those things off, and half the time that to-do list gets lost. So instead of adding more exercises or stretches, I want you to focus on breaking the bad habits that are keeping you stuck. Because honestly, that's the easiest and most sustainable way to heal your hips. And you can do it with the babies that are around. There's no special equipment, okay? So your challenge for this week, I want you, for the next 7 days, I want you to try this. Notice how you stand. Are you shifting onto one hip? Check how you sit. Are you cross-legged or tucking one foot? Okay, and then I also want you to think about your feet. Are you walking barefoot on hard floors? I know this sounds so silly and you're probably rolling your eyes at me, but I pinky promise. These little things are going to help you, and that's it. Just notice them. That's all I want you to do is just notice them. Of course, you can correct them and fill it out a little bit, but I want you to start noticing them, because once you start noticing, you start changing. And I guarantee if you start catching yourself and adjusting even just a little bit, you're gonna feel a difference. All right, mama, that's the wrap for today. This week is all about awareness, because small changes, they add up fast. And next week, we're talking about why weak glutes are not the problem and why you might be making your hips worse by doing all those squats and clamshells. Even though I do love clamshells, squats I'm not a fan of. I'm telling you now, you don't want to miss this one. if today's episode hits home, share this with another mama who needs to hear this, because we're in it together. We are a force to be reckoned with. I'll see you next week. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.